Welcome to another Online Personals Watch CEO interview. Today I'm joined by Gary Kremen, who's the former CEO and founder of Match.com. So Gary, it's an absolute pleasure to have you today.
Thank you for your time.
So I'd like to ask you, first of all, you founded Match.com in 1995. What was your...
Actually, in 1993.
93, with electric classifieds?
That's right. Kind of the original vision was it was based on email dating service.
Gotcha. And what was your original vision at the very beginning? Tell us about the genesis of the site and what was your key inspiration?
Well, my genesis and idea was to find the right woman for myself. I had an idea that if I put all the women in the world in a database and sorted on my criteria, I'd just marry number one. The market trend I observed is I started in another company and I noticed that more women were getting on email, sending purchase orders, communications for that other company and the like. And I had the idea, well, what if I could charge access to those women? So that's kind of how I invented online dating.
And how do you think it's changed? How do you think the site has improved over the years?
Well, clearly the web and a mobile interface is reach consumers on what they're doing today. So deeper database, different ways of reaching it has been an improvement.
Now, say if you were the CEO of Match.com today, what would you change tomorrow?
Well, it's hard for one CEO to criticize another CEO because, I'm not sitting there and looking at their constraints. I'd kind of increasingly make it work in the appification world, in the walled garden world, various different mobile platforms, look at other platforms. Clearly, Zeus got ahead by being on the Facebook platform. I would look at emerging platforms like that, including Facebook.
So, actually, I was reading back in 1996, you had some disagreement with the VCs that were funding Match.com about serving certain alternative markets, including the gay market. Now, what were the alternative markets? Tell us more about that.
Well, I kind of saw an opportunity that while Match was about long-term relationships, there were markets for just casual dating, and first they wanted to be in technology, and I wanted to be in the media for the most part, in the content business. And I saw where a lot of growth were, while, again, the long-term relationships definitely could give a good net present value. Short-term relationship, gay dating, lesbian dating, different ethnic group targeting. I thought that was the way to go to try to create as big network effect, as big database as possible. And we saw that very differently. They were embarrassed by the whole thing.
And of course, a couple of years ago, Match.com bought People Media, and so they picked up a large number of fairly niche dating sites at this stage, and they are serving the niche markets. So, are you surprised by the level of innovation that's occurred since you started Match.com, one way or the other?
I think I'm actually surprised how a little bit behind it is. It seems to me, in general, while there's exceptions to the rule, not first innovators in dating, in dating space, not always first in mobile, not first in using new technologies, new platforms like Facebook or LinkedIn, not using always social graph analysis. I mean, there's always outliers, but I would say the innovation's at the rest of the market. It's not ahead of the market.
And things really seem to be moving online onto the mobile phones, I should say. In the last year or so, there's been a significant move towards mobile.
But that was a 3 year ago trend, if not a 5 year ago trend. I guess maybe out here in Silicon Valley, I see trends a little early. We see trends a little early.
Things are really starting to pick up in terms of the actual user growth en masse. A lot of sites are really seeing very positive trends towards iPhone usage now that mobile phones are up to par and the services are up to par and the apps no longer crash. There's quite a move towards mobile. What do you think's next? What do you think is going to be the next big move?
I think using geocoded data and maybe social graph data.
Gotcha. So GPS-based, location-based services.
Yes, exactly. Dating more people around you.
Yeah.
a different look at it. People who want to date now today, not in a hookup sense, although that I'm sure that's a market, um, but more immediacy in using geocoded information.
So, if you were betting on a particular dating site, say if you were going to invest a couple of $100,000, where would you put it? Which horse would you put your money on?
Well, I think that's again, I don't want to disparage anyone versus the other. I've been helping out the guys at Scout, Skout, who kind of have an interesting mobile product, kind of more short-term dating than long-term dating. But again, I don't want to really disparage or make a public bet.
Well,
It's a tougher business today just because customer acquisition costs are so high.
Yes. Well, Scout sounds like a great horse. So tell us more about Scout.
They're just some guys who believe they were kind of early on in using mobile location-based data and kind of using an application where a targeted, I'll call it the urban consumer, wants to use it.
Well, I love the app, and they've had a very good, one of the first really good iPad apps too.
Mm-hmm.
How far back do you go with them? When did you start taking interest in them?
Oh, I just helped them out a couple of years ago. I've been helping them from time to time. Pretty good CEO there, guy named Christian. Pretty good.
And Reg Snodgrass, I think.
Yep. Good. Yeah. Good people. In fact, funny thing is, one of their office spaces was in the second space for Match.com on 340 Brannan in San Francisco. Just small world.
Did they know that?
What?
Did they know they were so close to the beginning?
I'm not sure. I mean, I get calls once or twice a week from people with new dating concepts. This is better than most, but there's some people who have some smart things out there.
So you do have an interest in getting back into the internet dating?
I didn't say that. I think there's a time for everything, and I think the time is gone for being a first mover. There's other businesses out there that excite me. Clean technology, helping the underbanked, other things, more things that add different types of value to society.
So let's move on to sociogramics, because that sounds like a very timely and another great cause. How does sociogramics help the underbanked and those with little credit?
Well, we're not helping bring love to the planet, which was my vision for Match, but with kind of the shrinkage in credit, there's a lot of good borrowers out there. Let's call them fallen angels. Let's call them new immigrants. Let's call them underbanked. It's, you have to look at subsegments, but that deserve credit that aren't being given chances by traditional lending institutions. So we're trying to help traditional lending institutions by bringing back the importance of character to lending. So people who want to pay back. So one of the things we learned in this financial crisis, there was a lot of people who could pay back that didn't. Can we go find people who really do want to pay back that aren't given a chance, if that makes any sense? Character and community. Think Kiva.
Great. So thank you so much for your time, Gary.
Thank you, Mark.
You're Gary Kremen. You're the former CEO and founder of Match.com. I look forward to seeing you at the Internet Dating Conference.
I'll see you there in Florida. Looking
Great.
forward to it.
Thank you.
Great.